We should be able to live side by side with natural systems everywhere around the world. To do that requires discovery of new knowledge. It requires innovation of new techniques for learning knowledge. It requires training at professional levels, but also training out there across the landscape in all the cultures of the world. It requires inspiration, because we're not going to live side by side with natural systems unless every culture of the world decides that's a really big priority. And finally, action. We need to translate information into real actions on the ground that do make a difference in the long term. Those 5 things define what the Cornell Lab of Ornithology is all about. Right now, with 7 billion people, you can't deny the fact that humans are managing the Earth. We are in charge of this planet. We have to acknowledge that the Earth is at a cusp right now. We are in a place where the human system and the global biological and climate systems are not stable. We need to get them stable. And birds supply the power to make people want that to happen. And they also supply the information that will allow us to measure how we're doing on a real-time basis. There are no institutions like ours that are trying to use all these powers that birds give us to accomplish a big global change. Change in understanding, change in attitudes, and eventually change in human behavior. We are discovering things every single day. That's the amazing thing about this place. We're discovering things, some of them big, huge unknown things like the migratory pathways of a Hudsonian godwit between Alaska and Tierra del Fuego. I mean, that's a big discovery. Every discovery actually adds to our understanding about relationships, interactions, ecological systems. We're actually beginning to use human beings all over the planet as biological sensors. If we get enough people doing that in enough places, we can suddenly put patterns together that we could never have understood, never have measured, certainly never have visualized without the efforts of all these millions of distributed people around the world. So that idea that citizens can become the critical drivers of scientific discovery, that's a hugely powerful thing. This is not just theory. We're doing it. Right now, we're seeing literally living maps. We can turn those discoveries back around almost immediately, put them up on the internet, and allow people who are actually the ones who are putting the data in to learn at the same time that we're doing it. Nobody can do discovery, real discovery, without inventing some new way to see something. It was Arthur Allen and Peter Paul Kellogg themselves in the 30s actually literally inventing new ways for recording bird sounds that changed how the sound recording industry works. Our own Chris Clark discovered how to use distributed recording systems underwater, hydrophones, for understanding movements across oceans of whales. We fundamentally deal with information, and with the information age comes the technology and the software and the statistics and the machine learning and the high-performance computing that's required to be able to understand huge data sets. We have just begun the process of using birds to monitor the Earth's systems. The Cornell Lab of Ornithology is a science and training workshop that uses that science and training to communicate to the world. And the fantastic thing about this place is it's located at Cornell University, which is already one of the world's great research universities. This is an interdisciplinary institute that is unlike any other in the world, in that students come, get really great at one thing, but they leave very good at many things. That's a really important feature in the 21st century. Our job is to expand our capacity to have scientists and educators at every level, from the undergraduate all the way to the postdoctoral positions, where they can come here, take advantage of this unique opportunity to be at Cornell and at the Lab of Ornithology, and then go out and become ambassadors to the world. The great thing about humans is that we learn at every age and stage of our lives. And the great thing about birds is that we can use them to teach and inspire people at every stage of their lives. We think we can touch everybody with the inspirational power and the knowledge that birds provide. So our efforts are literally to reach people at any age, to learn and grow just by interacting with us and with the things that we can open their eyes to out in nature. Conservation in the 21st century is going to require inspiring people all across the globe. It's going to require telling their stories that get them excited about the idea that they want to protect their natural heritages. We're trying to tell stories with people around the world about their places and their systems, so that together the impact becomes global. Information is our currency, yet conservation is in our mission statement. We are committed to turning information into action. The way you do that is you work with partners. We work with other institutions, organizations, people, agencies, in our country and in countries all over the world. We've used recently this amazing accumulation of information through eBird to generate very detailed maps of the distributions of birds across Western North America. And the U.S. federal agencies are now using this information specifically to design management strategies in the various different regions in which they own land and are responsible for managing it. Our idea fundamentally is using knowledge about the natural system to change people's attitudes about the idea that we can live side by side with stable systems. And when those attitudes change, action happens and behaviors change. That idea that this place is for interpreting and conserving the Earth's biological diversity embodies everything we do.